From a bush-choked hillside, this young guy stares out at a massive domed palace towering in the distance. He sits there, silent and locked in, staring straight ahead as his thoughts race toward what's next. Because in just 3 days, the city's hero is throwing a massive party, and that looming night is already crushing his mind. In a cramped stone room, an older man spread out documents across a wooden table, tapping each page as he laid out the target and the plan. The young man sits there, dead silent, eyes locked on the papers. One shows a kid's portrait, the other maps out the building. While a plan snaps into place in his head, he'll slip in first disguised as a servant and bide his time until the perfect moment hits. They call him a living legend. Gods sing his name, people idolize him, and every story swears he's unmatched, almost not even human. But while that glory echoes, a cloaked swordsman trudges along alone, blade hooked on his shoulder, wrestling with what that reputation really weighs and what it really demands. And the legends keep getting wilder. People swear the hero already wiped out 3 of the 4 demon kings, smashing through monsters so huge they could swallow whole battlefields. They even say he crushed an army of 10,000 under their own banner, and when the dust settled, all that was left was a sea of fallen bodies and broken steel. In front of a grand palace packed with roaring crowds, the hero stands tall like a living torch of hope. Everyone worships him as humanity's guiding light, but beneath all that praise, a ruthless truth crawls out. People are hunting him, and they want him dead. In a silent room, the older man hands the method to the young assassin, and the kid takes it without flinching, only asking for one thing: the right to choose how it gets done. A tiny portrait of the hero gets held up above the wreckage of scattered documents, and his face glares right back from the page like a warning. Below, a soldier glares with pure, burning hatred, fist clenched like he's ready to explode, because he's dead set on killing the hero, and he wants to watch it happen with his own eyes. Hatred flares hotter in the soldier's chest as old memories slam back. His beloved granddaughter's face, her final choice, and the anguish that drove her to end her own life while blaming the hero for it all. Rage contorts his expression, and he vows through clenched teeth that he'll never forgive him. Tears spill out from under his cap, and you can practically feel that crushing loss weigh him down, while in the quiet room the young man stares, finally understanding just how heavy those feelings really are. The older man doesn't flinch. He just accepts the assassin's icy nature with a razor-thin smile. A young man strides through a shattered street, stepping past scattered corpses, moving with ruthless speed and total focus. No hesitation, no mess, no doubt, because to him, tools don't need feelings. So many others crumbled under the pressure, but he still holds steady, because this mission is his final one, and he's the only blade left anyone can truly trust. The young assassin's face dominates the screen, his eyes ice-cold and locked in place. As the mission clicks in his mind, he's going to kill the hero. Behind that fierce resolve, the hero steps in, flanked by smiling friends who wave and laugh like everything's normal, while right in the middle of that bright, carefree world, a man marked for death stands out like a wound that won't heal. Beneath a massive domed ceiling, nobles and honored guests pack into a grand hall for a lavish celebration, and right in the middle of the buzz, the hero stands there, grinning while he chats with everyone close by, until the whole room feels like it's watching him. From across the hall, someone spots him and murmurs the confirmation. The target is exactly here, center stage. The hero gets swarmed in an instant by cheering nobles, all clamoring for him and begging for a dance, and he grins warmly, steering the whole crowd like it's nothing. Though he insists he's no great dancer, they don't stop asking. He glides across the floor beside one of the ladies, and the whole room can't stop staring. His charm, his good looks, his spotless reputation on the surface, he looks untouchable, adored for far more than just how deadly he is in battle. From the shadows, the assassin stares on with ice-cold eyes, emotionless as stone, because in his world, who the hero is doesn't matter. An order is an order, and if he's told to kill, he'll kill. While the party keeps roaring, the hero slips out of the crowd and heads for a quiet corner where things finally start to feel dangerous. From the rooftop, the assassin spots the change, right when the moment he's been craving finally explodes into reality. The palace lights flicker, then cut out completely, plunging the whole place into choking darkness. Panic rockets through the crowd as nobles bark for torches. Then, right in the chaos of screams, a silent shadow slips into motion. Servants and guards sprint down the halls, totally rattled by the sudden blackout, shouting orders as they scramble to lock the place down and calm the guests. Then everything goes quiet outside. Outside the window, the assassin hunkers in the dark, eyes locked on the chaos as the staff scramble to keep up. Creeping through the dim corridor, the assassin slips past patrolling staff and plunges deeper into the shadows, staying low and locked in, telling himself over and over, don't mess this up. With the map in hand, he races to the spot where the hero's room should be. Then he peeks inside and freezes, because something's off. and confusion slams onto his face. Inside a private room, the servant bows and blurts out an apology, then tells the guest to wait while they deal with the mess, while the nobles huff with irritation, not a shred of fear. One woman snaps that commoners are worthless, while everyone else snaps about how the darkness ruined their night, the hero sits there in quiet calm, letting every complaint roll right past him. Even with the delay dragging on, the hero keeps grinning, brushing it off like it's nothing, while one woman starts snapping in impatience and another cuts her off, shushing her to save the mood. The hero pitches a game to kill the time, and just like that, the tension melts away. Someone snaps magic into the room and lights it up, then the whole crew crowds back around him, pulled in by his bright, cheerful energy. The hero snaps his sword out in a blink, whips it toward a man in the room, grinning while he talks about mutilating him like it's some kind of punchline, and the whole mood flips in an instant. The victim screams and begs for his life, but the hero talks like it's nothing, promising to erase the body without a single trace, while the assassin lurks in the shadows, watching. As he finally realizes that the hero's shining image is hiding something far uglier, the old soldier's words keep slamming into the assassin's head while he watches the scene play out. He knew there was a truth behind it, and this sight confirms every last doubt. The hero taunts his victim, smiling as he jokes about pain and punishment, blade in hand. Then the assassin finally realizes the man everyone calls humanity's savior is just filthy and doomed to die. Right then, the hero feels eyes in the dark, whips around and studies the shadows, curious as hell. From the shadows, a towering figure strides out, cloak heavy on his shoulders, hand planted on his blade, steady eyes, calm voice as he calls himself Julie, and he wastes no time making it crystal clear. He was hired to assassinate the hero. The hero erupts in laughter at the claim, totally delighted by the thought of getting assassinated. He mocks the attempt, then snaps the blackout into place as part of the plan, brushes everyone aside, and locks in on Julie, because to him this isn't a threat at all, it's pure entertainment. With a wicked grin, he decides that battling this brand new opponent is way more fun. The hero's companions couldn't wait to jump in, but he snapped, waving them back. This assassin is mine. And they just grinned, fearless, treating the whole thing like a game. To them, gambling with death feels normal, almost routine, whether it's pure madness or that battle-hardened confidence that only comes after countless fights. They stand right behind him like real heroes, fearless in the middle of the danger, and then the hero blurts out that something just feels wrong. Now that the assassination has flipped into a straight-up duel, he grips his sword and beckons Julie closer, desperate to crash into him head-on. Julie knows this goes totally against his usual playbook. He would never, ever let himself be seen by a target. Still, he lunges in close and drives a blade toward the hero's throat, because even if he's dying tonight, he has to test one thing first, even though it's totally out of character for him. Julie clenches his blade tighter and tighter, wondering if his skills can actually stand up to a so-called hero, and a sly smirk flashes across his face as he braces for what's coming. The hero fires back with pure excitement instead of fear, daring him to prove it, and the very next second, the hero rockets forward and the duel finally kicks off. The hero's blade slams down with brutal force, so much pressure it could flatten Julie on the spot if it connects, and Julie just barely twists out of the way as the floor explodes and splits under the hit. The hero hammers the attack again and again, each strike ripping through the room like it's made of paper. Still, as Julie steadies himself, it hits him. These strikes are brutal, but the moves behind them are surprisingly basic. Seeing Julie keep up, the hero grins and flips his plan on the spot. Then he snaps out a named technique, driving his blade down as it flashes like a falling dragon. The air rips apart as the attack rockets toward Julie, even faster and deadlier than before, while the hero laughs with swagger, his glowing blade surging forward, certain it'll crush her in one strike. But when the strike finally clears, Julie is still standing. This blow that should have shattered Demon Kings can't finish the job. Smoke swirls as he steps out unscathed, calm as ever, and tells the hero that tonight, luck has officially walked out on him. Julie lifts his hand calmly and tells him straight, this hero's technique utterly fails, especially against someone like him. The crowd erupts in panic, shocked that magic could slip past everyone, especially right under an assassin's nose, while the hero freezes, sure his blow should have torn through Julie's arm, and doubt starts creeping in fast. The hero forces a laugh like it's nothing, swears he'll heal it all in an instant, then boom, he coughs up dark blood. As the poison races through him, he collapses in pain, then Julie steps in, stands her ground, and lays it all bare. That blade was smeared with a toxin that only reacts to magic. Even a tiny cut is all it takes. Once that legendary hero's power is on, the poison surges faster, and now the hero has only minutes left. As the hero crumples to the ground, his companions lose it, panic surges, and they scramble to get into formation. Just as they're about to react, a brutal blast detonates through the room, slamming them backward and ripping the space itself to pieces. One of the women snaps. Pure rage takes over as she rockets forward, screaming like a banshee. She launches a full-force swing at Julie, smashing through the room with a raging, no-holds-barred attack. Julie stayed ice calm, slipped out of the way at the last second, and watched her strike slice past him. Then she surged in and dropped him with one smooth, crushing blow. Rage vanishes in an instant. She crumples to the floor, shaking hard, begging for her life and sobbing out apologies, while he just stares coldly on, blade unmoving as her terrified pleas ring through the room. With the danger wiped out for good, Julie drops his blade and declares, "It's over." The older man, rattled but still breathing, shouts at him with all his might. A guard stalls, stuck on whether to kill the old man too, but Julie snaps him down, because this guy is a pro and he won't talk. As the room fills with confusion, the old man jolts forward, frozen by what he's just witnessed, while the hero lies still on the floor, blood spreading beneath him. Julie says dead calm that the only target was the hero, always the hero. When they call him a coward, he shrugs it off and insists he just fought his way. Once it's over, he doesn't gloat or feel guilt. He just stands there with quiet, unshakable resolve. As the old man kneels by the fallen hero, he leans close and asks who ordered the hit, quiet, sharp, and final, while Julie dodges the question, and he walks away leaving her with a warning. He leans in close and snaps the truth. The deadliest thing out there isn't some monster, it's humans, straight up. On the ground, the hero barely hangs on, eyes fading, yet he clings to pride as life slips away. Julie looms over him, blade drooping at her side, and tells him, calm as a whisper, that in another life he should have learned to make fewer enemies. The old man just smirks, and the rain finally starts to pour. The legend dies out in silence. His body slumps to the ground, blood spills from his lips, and the hero is gone. Julie slips away quietly as the old man drops to his knees, tears spilling as he whispers that his granddaughter can finally rest. Then the whole room goes dead silent, because the long, brutal revenge hunt is finally over. Snow swirls past the window as the old man drops to his knees beside the body, regret flashing across his face. Then he shoves it down and lets it go. Julie lingers by the door, casting one last look into the silent room. No more words. He turns and walks out, his silhouette swallowed by the falling snow. 13 days later, the city finally goes still. Like all that chaos has been swept away and put to rest. Julie got warned to lie low and plug every loose end before he left the country. Then he slipped into the trees alone, marching toward a tiny house while the grand palace stayed miles behind. He studies the forged papers clutched in his hand. The name stamped on them is Jade Clone, his shiny new identity, and this fake record is ready to be his disguise. He slips across the border without a single soul noticing, because Julie, the assassin, is finally done for. And now he's switching lanes, trying to live like a normal guy named Jade. Now it's all over and doubt crashes down hard. Jade stares at his reflection, stunned, thinking, how am I even supposed to live from here? Killing has been in his blood for as long as he can remember. So tell me, can someone like him ever truly blend in with normal people? Or will that emptiness keep roaring until he finds a purpose? Jade spots a beat-up little notebook on the ground, snatches it up, and freezes, because somehow it's already ended up in his bag, and he has no idea how. As he stares at it, a memory explodes. Someone once asked him if he'd ever eaten cake. Hachai's name snaps back into his head, and that quiet little moment they once shared returns like a whisper he can't shake. Hachai's memories sharpen like a blade. Once, she'd laughed about cakes and insisted the shop ones had to taste better than anything they could imagine, dreaming of a fluffy cake piled with edible flowers and swearing she'd try one someday. Checking it off her tiny bucket list. Then when he asked if she meant eating it, she shook her head with a bright grin. She didn't want much. She just wanted one thing, deliver the cake. He still remembers the guy who never got to hand that cake to his daughter because of him. Hachai's tear-streaked face haunts him as she begs, I don't want to kill anymore. She just wants a normal life. She's made up her mind to leave, step out into the world and live free, and he can't ever forget it. He flips the battered pages, clutching the memory of her promise to escape together, then looks at the book and whispers her name like it's right in front of him. After that long, tense pause, he shuts it with a final click and lets out a small, shaky breath. No way is it his time to die yet. He stuffs the notebook out of sight, shuts the past behind him, and strides into the forest, because he knows he can't chase down every dream on her list. As the wind slides through the trees, he swears he'll push it on, carrying her presence forward in her place, standing on the cliff's edge, staring out at a wild sea of forests, mountains, and floating islands, with the past behind him. He swings past the horizon, chasing tales he can't wait to tell, because the assassin who murdered the hero is already gone. With the past sealed away, he shuts the book in his hands and steps on, alone. And from this point on, it's just the quiet, ordinary life of a man, until it proves him wrong. The legendary hero is gone for good, and the empire erupts with rumors as word spreads like wildfire. Some people scream that demon kings did it, others swear it was just political plotting, and the rest of the crowd just stands there in stunned grief, unable to wrap their heads around what happened. But here's the truth nobody knows. The hero was gunned down by one lone assassin, then that killer stepped right into a brand new second life. He shows up at the towering walls of a brand new kingdom, staring as travelers stream through its gates, and the man he used to be is already gone. Under the wide open sky, he steps into this land like a brand new man, ready to tear up the past and start fresh. Right at the edge of Insari, a tense line of travelers waits, holding their breath for the moment they're finally allowed in. When his turn finally hits, he lunges up and shoves the fake papers into view, until the name Jade Clone stares back at everyone, and from this second on, that's the identity he'll wear. He stares at the identity in his hands, and the truth hits hard. This Jade Clone isn't built from fate. Everything past the face was paid for. In the underworld, life gets traded like a damn product. And after Kuro took him in, he grew up in the shadows, never once getting registered for anything. Never truly part of a family. At the gate, he keeps his story straight, slips through without a hitch, and clutches the last pieces of a life that was never really his. The guard scrutinized his papers and waved him through. Then he bolted his comm into place and started to leave. But her stare clung to him like she wasn't done, and when he thought he'd made it past, she snapped, calling him back. His heart lurched, then the guard's voice cut in again and his nerves shot straight up. But instead of grilling him, she opens the gates and welcomes him straight into the free kingdom of Ansari. He bids him safe travels, lets out a breath, realizes it's nothing at all, and strides into the crowd. Inside the kingdom, the streets are packed shoulder to shoulder, jammed with people of every race and every kind of life. Traders are roaring, travelers keep rolling through, and the whole city hums like true freedom, until he watches it all and realizes the brutal truth. If he wants to stay, he's got to earn money, lock in a job, and start over for real. As he watches strangers laugh together, he can't shake one question: will he ever smile? And in a world that keeps turning, where is there room for a man who only knows how to kill? Then Hachi's voice slices through his doubts, daring him to believe he can pull it off. He stares forward with unshakable resolve, and for one heartbeat, he thinks he hears her voice again. He halts mid-step and sweeps the crowd with his eyes, worried it's only an echo from his own mind. Right after that, he drops the thought, keeps moving, and whispers to himself that he'll give it everything he's got. 3 days fly by and the city turns into a non-stop storm of people like they promised. Movement everywhere, chances everywhere. He slips into the crowd and tells himself the same thing over and over: more faces mean more work. Then his name gets called, and he surges forward, ready to start earning his place for real. At the checkpoint, a guard shuts him down, demanding his ID and baggage, and orders him not to slow the line. He slid his papers over quietly, swearing he was only hunting for work and a place to sleep, but the guard shot him a hard, suspicious look, because he'd rolled in with almost nothing. The guard scans the papers, then finally waves him through, still tossing a few brutal jabs at how he looks before letting him pass. And a sharp warning not to start any trouble. He shoots him a grateful nod, then keeps moving. As he pushes deeper into the city, his mind races. What can he really do here? He's got battle experience, mostly assassination, but maybe starting with guard duty is the move. He barrels down the packed streets, talking to himself like a promise. He's finally free, and there's no harm in one honest shot at a real job. Then he snags a couple comments from the folks nearby, and the truth hits him hard. Yeah, he definitely reeks like he just crawled in off the road. With a tiny sigh, he decides, before anything else, that he's getting in the bath first. He rents a tiny room and finally steps under running water like it's salvation after ages of suffering. And once the grime washes away, he feels human again. Now that he's got a bed locked in for at least 10 days, he only has a short window to figure out what he's doing next. He steps out of the shower and stares at it. Everything he owns can cram into one single bag. His blade, a notebook, a few coins, and that's it, the whole past gone. Then a knock hits the door and a voice barks at him to stop hogging the water. He dresses up again, murmurs his thanks to the innkeeper, and strides back into the hallway, clutching the final scraps of who he used to be. He flops onto the soft bed, stretches like a cat, and exhales a long, relieved breath. This is nothing like the rough bunks back in the hideout. For the first time in ages, he finally exhales. No more killing. And the weight in his mind starts to lift as sleep creeps in. He remembers her dream of someday sinking into a soft bed and quietly tells himself, this is the promise he's already keeping, lying here. He decides a cheap bed just won't cut it, If he's staying, he needs cash fast and a way better place to live. The very next day, he finally slows down long enough to take in the city. And wow, the main street is jammed, loud, and way busier than he ever imagined. So he slips into the crowd and starts plotting, right there, how he's going to earn a living. He strides through the market, jaw set on the idea that he has to find a way to help. Stall after stall crowds the street with glowing goods and loud, swirling noise. Still, his gaze won't stop sliding to the weapon stalls, and he winces when he realizes the prices are way too steep for him right now. Just as he keeps going, a weird little detail snaps his focus. He freezes in place immediately. He halts in front of a fruit stall and gapes at the glossy, unreal-looking produce. Then reality punches him in the face. He paid for the inn, and now his money was basically gone. Plus, he hadn't had a proper meal in ages. Just as he hesitated, a cheerful vendor swooped in, offered to help, and completely caught him off guard. He blurts out, "I want to work here," and the girl running the stall freezes, cheeks burning with instant fluster. He swears he'll take any job they offer, anything. Then, before she even has a chance to answer, a hulking man barrels out of the inside storms, barks at him, and demands to know what he thinks he's doing. The burly manager stomps out, eyes him for a split second, and slams the door shut with a cold, "No way I'm hiring someone like you" refusal. He gets shoved aside and tumbles across the ground, roaring to protest, but nothing he says goes through. Shaking off the dust, he grinds down his anger and storms out to find work somewhere else. He storms shop to shop, but every single one slams him down. Some even shut the door in his face, while others won't let him get a single word out. Frustration keeps rising when he realizes jobs are everywhere, just not a single one that's meant for him. At 38, with nothing to his name except killing, he can't ignore how guilty he looks. He stares at his reflection and realizes those worn clothes and that hardened face scream the same truth. He's still exactly what he used to be. He almost rams right into a young woman juggling papers, and she whips around to catch herself, apologizing on the spot, her glasses slipping out of place. Then the crowd swells between them, someone yells for help, and people surge past like a tide. She snaps her head over, checking him for damage, and he waves it off like it's nothing. "I'm fine," until she finally exhales in relief, thankful they didn't drop a single thing. With the street noise blaring behind them, an old woman suddenly crumples to the ground and screams that someone stole from her. The whole crowd spins around when a lone figure rockets down the street, and everyone points him out. Then, without a second's pause, he tears after the thief. She doesn't even hesitate. Just a beat later, she blurts that she'll follow, and up ahead the alleys twist tight, narrow as a maze. If they don't dash right now, the thief is gone for good. Then a weird ring of force snaps onto the street, and the girl just freezes, stunned and clueless. She whips her gaze around, trying to piece together what just happened, and right on cue the guards surge in, sharp, alert, and perfectly organized. The thief bolted into an alley, but the sky above it was wide open, no cover at all. The scheme was deadly simple. Let him think he slipped into safety, then close in the moment the route clears. From the rooftops, the man watched every move with ice-calm focus, and as he stared down below, he admitted the truth to himself. Every skill he perfected was built to end lives. And now he's using them again, but this time it's a whole new game. He sprints across rooftops, tearing over tiles and snapping through narrow gaps, while the city spreads out below him, clueless, and if anyone can still be saved, it's going to happen because he won't stop. He finally decides to go all out. Then the thief barrels through the tight alley, hacking and gasping for air like every breath hurts, sure he's finally out of danger. With a nasty grin, he checks his loot and verifies the prize, the azure drop. He clenches it tight and bolts, eyes locked on that reward waiting right ahead, while the thief laughs and promises that once he drops off the stolen item, the whole job is finally over. Right when he thinks he's got the upper hand, Ju drops in behind him and clamps an arm around his neck. His confidence evaporates as he chokes, gasps, and thrashes to break free. Panic flared on his face as Ju tightened his grip without even a second thought. The thief thrashes in Ju's grip, barely awake as foam dribbles from his mouth, and Ju can't shake the flashback, how he used to live by blades and broken bones, and how strangling someone still rattles his stomach. He digs his heels in and fights the urge to kill, because ending a life is the easy part, and keeping someone alive demands iron control. For once he refuses to finish it, just stops. Ju tilts his head to the sky, stunned that he finally has something to be proud of. Saving someone hits different, and now he can't help thinking it's exactly the kind of story he'd love to tell Hachai. He drops to one knee, ripping open the recovered bag to inspect it. Sure, it's filthy, but everything inside is intact. That's all that matters. So he decides to rush it back fast and he doesn't do anything but lock eyes with the guards and the townspeople, everyone staring straight at him, like they can't believe he's there. Ju lifts the bag to prove it's still untouched, Then the woman snaps her finger at him, panicked, cutting him off mid-explanation. The guards snap into action the second it's said. He goes stone still, because now everyone's pointing at him like he's the thief. Ju remembers the day he hunted down and killed a tyrant hero, swearing to himself that his skills were built for one thing: murder. No matter why he did it, bloodshed was still bloodshed, because the moment he stopped taking lives. He rushes back, hands over the stolen bag, and jumps in to help a person in trouble. Small moment, huge weight, because for the first time, his hands feel like they're doing real good. The woman jabs a shaky finger at him, panicking and screaming that he's the thief who snatched her bag. The guards spin toward you in a flash, and he freezes on the spot, confused, while everyone around screams at him to not move. It hits him like a truck. People suddenly think he's the criminal. Ju drops to his knees and blurts out a fast, furious denial, because he knows that if he runs, it'll scream guilty. He clamps down on his nerves and stays calm, then tells everyone straight up he tracked the real thief and got the bag back. And then he blurts out that the man is unconscious, right there in a nearby alley, just waiting for someone to discover him. The guards don't buy a word he says. Then one of them slams down the order to arrest him, while someone else points out just how far the main street is from the red light district. They're adamant he couldn't possibly snag the thief and slip back that fast, so they slam his story as impossible and swear he's lying. He realizes his words won't sway a single soul, and the crowd's anger flips on him in an instant. Sure, he figured out a way to ride the chaos and slip out after snatching the bag. Then frustration kept boiling higher and higher. He regrets showing up that boldly, but he draws the line. He won't take the punishment for a crime he didn't commit. Cornered with no options left, he shatters free and barrels toward the exit, ramming through the crowd to slip out, trying to get away. A young woman suddenly blurts out, panting hard, then points straight at him and screams that he's no thief at all, and the guards freeze mid-step. He whips around, stunned, because it's the exact same woman he slammed into earlier. The woman strides forward, calm as thunder, and tells the guards to double-check the truth before they haul the wrong person away, because she was there when it happened, and she and the other guy chased the real thief together. The officers freeze for a beat, measuring every word she says, and one finally snaps that if they hesitate, the real culprit will slip right through their fingers. After a quick pause, they decide to test her story. Then they slam down the order and make the man lead them straight to where the thief was left. She flashes him a tiny, relieved smile, while he keeps his gaze locked away, still bristling with tension. Soon after, he storms through the tight streets with the guards and jabs forward, because the suspect is right there, staring him down. The guards point out the suspect, hunched and slumped in that alley, and Ju backs their claim calmly with zero hesitation. The officers close in, and the crushing tension finally starts to slip away. One of them lets out a heavy sigh at the chaos. While he's standing there, Ju's silent as a statue, calmly watching everything finally settle. Ju watches the crowd finally quiet down as the guards march out with the real thief in cuffs. He can't stop thinking about the girl who jumped in and wiped his name clean. Then he spots her again, and this time he'll thank her the right way. Still, he knows luck won't save him. No cash, no safety net. So he whips back to the streets, telling himself one thing: he's got to find a job. Juzo slams the brakes in front of a tiny tool shop, thinking the main street won't hire someone who looks like him. Yet this place grabs his attention anyway. He can't stop thinking that places like this might be hiding the underworld behind the counters. He's always sworn off spots like that, but now he's actually weighing whether to step inside. Ju tells himself he can't afford to be picky anymore, then steps into the tool shop, dead quiet, shelves packed with bottles and tools. He shuts the door behind him and pushes deeper inside. Then he abruptly halts, eyes sharpening as something feels wrong, and Ju whips his gaze around the shop, spotting every neatly lined up weapon and tool. The craftsmanship hits him first. Every piece is finely made, then lovingly maintained. He can tell the owner takes real pride behind the counter, with shelves packed full of stuff. The shop feels lived in, like it's been humming for years, but it's still calm and quiet. He figures it's either run by a battle-tested old craftsman, or a newcomer every bit as skilled and dead serious. So when the front is empty, he lets out a casual call, then assumes the boss is hiding around the back. A towering, broad-shouldered brute suddenly bursts out from behind the counter, and the whole room feels smaller the second he's there. He greets Ju with a thunderous voice and a relaxed, confident grin, like he already knows this deal is a win. And with that thick beard and rock-solid muscles, he looks more like a warrior than any shopkeeper. He flashes a proud gesture around the shop, beckoning Ju to come check out the goods. Then up close, his grin melts into something warmer, almost amused, as he studies his quiet customer. Ju pauses for a beat, drinking in the sheer bulk and energy of the man in front of him, while a huge, muscular shopkeeper steps into view from the right behind the counter, grinning like he owns the place. With a confident gesture, he puts the goods on display, and at the entrance the young man just stands there, staring back, saying nothing. Next thing you know, the shopkeeper breaks into a smug little laugh, clearly delighted, while the visitor stays stone quiet. From the right side, he leans in and watches the young man through the window with his arms crossed, sizing him up. Inside, the young man scans the shop's gear, jaw tight as tension crawls up his spine, and then he locks eyes with the shopkeeper, because this isn't a casual visit. The shopkeeper thinks he's just a customer, but the young man cuts in fast. He's not here to buy a thing. He stays cool and says he wants a job. The shopkeeper freezes, shocked, then his curiosity flares, staring at him like he's just uncovered something big. From the right, the shopkeeper explodes into loud laughter, totally entertained by how boldly the young man asks for a job instead of just buying goods. He grins at the reply and can't stop himself from openly loving it, while the young man just goes still, totally thrown by how he's reacting. Once the shopkeeper finally cools off, he admits he'd totally hire the kid out of pure curiosity, but the shop's way too cramped and they don't need extra hands right now, and the young man just stands there, scrambling for words, not knowing how to react. From the right, the shopkeeper urges the young man not to lose hope, telling him he can swing back anytime if something comes up, and the young man nods, swallowing it all quietly. Right after that, the door bursts open, and a lively girl with glasses walks in, instantly snatching both their attention. She spots the young man instantly, beams like a weight lifted off her shoulders, and lets out a relieved smile, because thank goodness he's still safe after everything that just happened. From the right, she bursts in on the street scene, all fired up the second she hears he's looking for work, clenched fists, eyes shining bright, and she declares it's a brilliant idea. Back inside, she walks up to the shopkeeper with total confidence, says they'll get along great, praises the young man as kind and steady, and even brings up how he helped catch a criminal. From the right, the girl barrels into the discussion, all excited, insisting she wants to help too. The young man stays silent in the background as the shopkeeper listens closely. After a short pause, the shopkeeper snaps into action, wide grin, big thumbs up, and declares the young man is hired, then tells him to come back tomorrow. The girl's shoulders finally drop, relief and gratitude spilling out, because taking on the whole place by herself was crushing, and his return couldn't have hit at a more perfect moment. From the right, the shopkeeper puts on a smug show, thanking them for always having his back, while he waves it off, telling them he's totally fine. Behind the scenes, the girl panics that he's pushing himself too far, then quietly asks if someone can help lighten his load. The young man stares, realization crashing into him, and then the shopkeeper finally pivots toward him and demands, "What's your name?" The young man stays cool and introduces himself as Julie. Then the guy on the right gently echoes Jade with a quick small smile. The girl, Stana, greets him warmly, and right under them the shopkeeper, still intense but now more composed, drops his name as Leslie to seal the whole introduction. Outside the shop, Stana grins from the right and tells Jade to give it his all, swearing he'll always be welcome. Jade nods, promises he can come back anytime, and when he glances over his shoulder, you can tell their kindness really got to him. With a sincere look in his eyes, he thanks them from the heart, and then quietly swears he'll pay them back someday. From the right, Stana slips away with a soft, gentle smile, clutching her bag as she goes, leaving a peaceful calm hanging in the air. Leslie spins back inside and grills Jade, asking if he's truly sure about this move, and Jade, half joking but deadly serious underneath, warns him not to regret hiring someone like him. Leslie just waves it off, confidently clowning him for pretending to be cool, while Stana keeps trudging down the street alone. Leslie lunges in from the right, drapes an arm over Jade, and bursts into loud laughter, claiming Stana's word is all he needs. Then he shrugs it off, insisting he's just a simple guy and qualifications don't matter to him. Jade thanks him from the bottom of her heart and vows to go all in, and Leslie grins, accepts anyway, and makes it crystal clear the pay won't be much. Jade shrugs it off, basically saying, "If I can just get by, that's all I need," and then right from the Jade grins and says he can't wait, and Leslie snaps, "Show up early tomorrow, start learning the job." Jade storms out of the shop with a knot in his stomach, thinking, don't mess this up. He had no idea work like this would fall into his lap. As he strides down the street, it feels like his life just hit the reset button, like he's finally crossing a fresh starting line, breaking out of the dark and charging straight into something better. On the right, Jade stands on a balcony, gazing over the city as rooftops vanish into the distance, and he decides right then, no more drama, just an ordinary life from now on. As the streets churn beneath him, he finally turns his back on his past and walks straight into a simpler future. A guy sprawls on the floor at the right, bruised and battered, begging for forgiveness as he swears he'll do better next time in a dim bar packed with bottles. A sharp-dressed man sits there like he owns the room, sword laid across his lap, cutting through every excuse, cold, direct, and absolutely not interested in apologies, and he leans in to demand one thing: what happened to the azure drop? From the right, the terrified man blurts that he stole it, then screams as he got caught mid-escape. Soldiers yank him through the street while he shakes like crazy, and back at the bar. The suited man snaps that he was hired for his speed, but somehow even a plain soldier still manages to catch him. Panicking, the thief blurts that he wasn't caught. He swears he was just running when someone else blindsided him, and only after that did the soldiers grab him. The sword wielder just watches in deadly silence, his face impossible to read. From the right, the thief claims he only saw soldiers haul that man away. Meanwhile, the suited guy throws his arms wide, smirking, and asks who the heck that person even was. Could it have been another assassin? He can't take his eyes off the detail, and the thief immediately panics, blurting that he was suddenly summoned back. The suited man shoots back ice cold, saying he could have told them to get more answers. The thief snaps in frustration, realizing too late that he messed up. A brutal dark strike whips in from the right and drops the thief before he can even get a word out, and the suited man just shoots him down with a cold warning: don't blame anyone else for your failure. His body crumples into a slick pool of blood, and he spits, muttering that only fools come here and that the city's people are worthless. Before anyone can breathe, he snaps that the captured target has to be killed right now, so no information leaks. Then he smirks and says he'll report everything to the guys above him. From the right, the suited man barrels through the wrecked room, fuming that he's stuck scrubbing yet another disaster, even though his plate is already overflowing. He barks at the others to scrub the room the second he storms out, rage still burning in him. This was meant to be simple. His fist tightens as he snarls that he'll kill anyone who steps in and ruins his plan. His rage is barely under control as the smashed doorway looms behind him, and the suited man from the right glares with a twisted grin, sweat dripping, promising a brutal revenge. Elsewhere in the city, Jade strolls down the street like he owns the calm, totally clueless that danger is creeping up from the right. The shop throws its doors open as Leslie steps outside, grumbling up a storm about how brutal that cold morning is. He flashes back to yesterday, trying to play it cool in front of Stana, and somehow landing with Jade. And now, with a hand on his beard, he can only pray the new guy isn't a total weirdo. Jade slides in from the right with a calm smile, telling Leslie he'll be counting on it. Then Leslie shoots up in shock, totally not ready for him to show up this early. He points out it's still dawn, but Jade shrugs it off and says he only came to greet him. Leslie's not buying it, so he shakes his head and warns him not to creep up on him like that, while Jade just stands there cool as a cucumber from the right. To right, Leslie waves Jade in, insisting it's smarter to show up early than to risk being late. But as Jade steps through, he can't shake that uneasy feeling, like this rush is about to backfire. Step inside, and the wooden walls and swinging lamps hit you right away. Leslie throws his arms wide and beams, welcoming him back like it's his store's grand reunion, with the black cat from the Black Cat the Asterisk. Jade peeks from the right, spots the shop sign, and blurts out that Black Cat sounds adorable. Then Leslie waves it off, looking a little embarrassed. They finally sit down, agree they'll introduce themselves first, and lock in before the work even starts. While Leslie waits, Jade abruptly freezes, choking on words, and that makes Leslie wonder if something is seriously keeping him from talking. From the right, Jade barges in, introduces himself as Jade Clone, and tells everyone he just rolled in from the El Grand Empire. Leslie jerks in shock, and then Jade keeps his cool, admitting he's never worked a single day in his life. Stunned, Leslie blurts out how he's made it this far, but Jade dodges the question with some vague line about brushing it off, and it only leaves Leslie more lost than ever. From the right, Leslie slumps in his seat with his head in his hands, freaking out that he may have just hired a total lunatic, while Jade stands right there, leaning in like, "Hey, are you okay?" Leslie forces a shaky smile, convinced Stana's got a razor-sharp eye, but if things crash and Jade turns out to be a bust, he'll fire him, no matter how much it hurts her. Then he lets out a long sigh, blaming himself for playing tough when he can't even face this mess. Leslie slides in from the right, introduces himself like he means business, and admits he's been running the shop for 10 years. Before that, he was a legit adventurer. Jade's eyes light up, shocked he survived with barely a scratch. Leslie bursts into loud laughter, waves it off like it's nothing, and claims he just keeps himself in great shape. Then he flexes proudly, while Jade snaps at him to stop before he wrecks his back again. Leslie only grins harder, brushes off the teasing from the right, and tells everyone, "Okay, that's enough." He's bursting with excitement and tells Jade, "All right, it's time, you're learning the job." Jade just stares at him, caught between is he messing with me, and is he for real? Inside, Leslie drags him through the place. he'll be stocking shelves, keeping everything in order and more. With the books in hand, inventory double-checked, and deliveries rolling out, Jade keeps right on Jade's heels, soaking up everything as his very first day finally kicks off. Leslie finishes from the right, wraps it all up, and basically tells everyone that's about it. He says most of it is just grunt work, but if you skip it, the whole shop falls apart. Then he tells Jade he'll pay big for any solid product idea, and Jade nods like, yeah, that checks out. Still, he's determined to master the basics first, and when he hears Leslie grins, you can practically feel how proud that attitude makes him. Jade leans in from the right and says the deliveries look like the perfect warm-up, but Leslie snaps back and grabs his attention. Start with the pile inside first. As Jade swivels toward work, Leslie clocks his messy hair and calls him out on the spot, but Jade just lets out a heavy sigh, brushes it off, and heads straight to start the job. Jade smooths his hair with a quick twist, tying it into a neat little back knot from the right side, and when Leslie says it looks better now, Jade snaps his head back in shock. Downstairs, they jab each other with playful grins. Jade calls out Leslie's scruffy beard, and Leslie shoots back that Jade would look way cleaner if he'd shaved too. The teasing finally cracks the tension, and they sink into their first day together. Then from the right, Leslie leans in and tells Jade, "Don't get lost. If anything comes up, just trust me." He tells him to slow down and double-check every address so nothing gets messed up. Jade nods, turns on his heel, and heads out to start the deliveries. And as Leslie watches him leave, he can't shake the feeling he might have worried a little too much. Jade's got rough edges, but he's straight up and always willing, until Leslie spots something and yells that Jade forgot his bag. Leslie bursts in from the right, clutching the bag everyone forgot, and she sprints out yelling after Jade. Then he tilts his head up. There's Jade, already sprinting over the rooftops with a crate clutched to his chest, and Leslie's body locks up as it hits him. He left behind something way more important than the bag. Jade shifts in from the right, eyes locked on the map, and wastes no time choosing his first stop, a house right on the main street. He rockets across the rooftops, instantly spotting the place like it's etched in his memory, and as he sprints toward it, he can't shake the fact that past pickpocket run somehow clued him into the exact route. Out of the right side, a sharp-looking man swings the door open and greets Jade, and Jade steps in like, "Hey, I'm Jade, fresh at the Black Cat, and they told me to deliver a package. So, am I at the right house?" The man clocks the shop right away, breaks into a grin, and waves him in without a second of doubt. Jade pauses at the doorway from the right, stunned they're letting him in that easily, and the man grins, waving him inside like everything's totally fine. Jade sets the package down exactly where he asked, and the man immediately swings in with a "want some tea." Jade declines, saying he's busy, and the man stares like he can't believe it, because Leslie always comes with him for tea. Jade pauses for a beat, and the truth hits. The shopkeeper isn't just selling goods, he's got a close line to his customers. From the right, Jade squirmed after she turned down the tea, and the servant hurried to explain that his master had also ordered sweets, plus sharing tea with Leslie is something they always look forward to. He flashes a warm smile and admits he can't wait for it, every single time, and Jade immediately blurts out an apology, realizing they were only being polite. Before he heads out, the servant warmly asks him to come with them next time, for your master's sake too, like it matters more than anything. From the right, Jay flashes a small smile and promises he'll drop by for tea next time, right after he finishes his route. As he strides off clutching the package, he realizes this isn't just about leaving things at doors. It's about pushing toward the next stop, where he crouches low, shoves a box into the kid's hands, and keeps working with a surprisingly calm look. Jade snags the last loaf from the right, his final drop of the day, and then steps away from the house, thinking, yeah, that went good. Hitting 3 homes in about 30 minutes on his first day, not bad at all. Right then, a little boy yanks on a nearby door, and Jade's eyes snap to him instantly. Right on cue, Jade awkwardly brings up the Black Cat's delivery from the side, and the boy's face instantly lights up as he blurts about a hero's sword, practically vibrating with excitement. An older woman steps in and softly tells the kid to back off and let him be. Jade hands over the package and checks the order one last time. The woman thanks him, the boy beams and hugs the parcel, and Jade sprints to the next drop like it's done and dusted. From the right, the boy proudly flaunts his toy sword and grins, saying Leslie fixed it perfectly. His grandmother breaks into a smile, bringing up how the hero from that tale was killed. Yet the legend still burns on through books and plays like it refuses to die, and you can almost feel that one day a brand new hero will rise. Jade stands quietly behind them, listening hard, and his expression shifts into deep, thoughtful focus. Jade swipes it away from the right when someone asks if anything's wrong, brushing them off with, "It's nothing." Then the boy bolts off, grinning with his sword, but Jade's mind drifts somewhere else. Dark memories roar back, violence, death, people breaking under it all, until he can only whisper one thing. Please, let the next hero build a world where nobody ever has to suffer like that again. Jade nods from the right, saying it'd be nice with a gentle voice. Then the boy grins wide, swings his toy sword like a hero, and Jade slips away from the house. Jade marches down the street when she hears folks still whispering about the hero's death, until Kuro's cover keeps the real truth locked down for now. He gazes over the city, calm on the surface but ready in his bones. Whatever hits next, he'll meet it when the time comes if he's got the right. Leslie freezes in disbelief as Jade claims it's done. Only 30 minutes have passed. He can't wrap his head around it, insisting even the shortest delivery takes 20 minutes round trip. Then his eyes narrow to slits, and he fires back, asking if Jade just tossed the packages somewhere instead of delivering them the right way. Jade from the right flat out denies tossing the package, and when Leslie studies him, she promises she'll double-check with the customers, just to be sure. Jade takes it in stride, calm as ever. Then, with no deliveries left, Leslie hands her new tasks and pushes everything into closing time. As they keep rolling, Jade slips into a quiet confession. Finishing 3 houses in just 30 minutes might have been way too fast. Leslie keeps her gaze locked on Jade from the right, still not fully trusting what she sees, while Jade stays stone silent, hands clasped tight, waiting for whatever happens next. Later, the shop shuts its doors, and Leslie decides he's done guessing. He takes over the deliveries himself and tells Jade, "We're going out." Together, they burst into the loud, crowded streets to verify everything face to face, and from the right. Leslie and Jade speed from house to house, and every customer beams at them, telling them the packages landed safe and sound with zero trouble. The boy proudly parades his fixed sword, and everyone else breaks into thanks for the deliveries. After double-checking everything, Leslie exhales and finally admits it. Jade really did finish every single delivery on the right route. Leslie keeps pace with Jade in dead silence, then finally blurts out that the deliveries are done, but his pace isn't normal. Jade just shrugs, saying it would have taken a whole day, and claiming Leslie is the one who's slow. Leslie slams on the brakes, stares him down, and calls his name, telling him, "I swear, Jade is hiding something." Something? Then from the right, Leslie's eyes snap sharp. He claims he's retired now, but he's still an old adventurer who can read people like a book. Jade's face darkens for half a second and Leslie clocks it. A nasty, cold thought flashes through him, and he slams the brakes on it right away. Because in the end, he tells himself this is one thing he can't afford to reveal. From the right, a dark memory claws its way back, Jade looming over the fallen hero, blade gripped tight. If Leslie ever finds out that he was the one who killed the hero, there's no mercy waiting for him here. Jade holds his gaze steady, but the trouble in his eyes gives him away. Once that secret spills, he'll have nowhere left to stay in this city. Jade peeks from the right, eyes sweeping the empty street, so she debates knocking Leslie out and vanishing, because there's not a soul in sight. He'd been praying to earn trust, but if Leslie really suspects foul play, he's not going to stay quiet. Jade clenched his jaw, pure frustration burning through him. Then Leslie, drenched in sweat, shouted his name, and that tense silence between them felt like a blade from the right. Jade bursts forward, hammers a punch into Leslie's stomach, and snatches at him before he even gets a chance to react. Leslie snaps back instantly. He blocks the attack and swings with full force, right back at them. When the clash erupts, Jade snaps, demanding to know if Leslie was only shoved out of being an adventurer because of his family, and the fight ignites immediately. From the right, Leslie drops his guard and admits he gets it. Back home, he was worked to the bone and never got a second to enjoy a single day. He knows that kind of pain all too well. Jade listens as Leslie's story turns out nothing like what he dreaded, and that relief hits hard. Leslie wipes his face, stares at him with a crushing sigh, and you can feel it, both of them sucking in air after that brutal clash. Right out of nowhere, Leslie flashes a grin and blurts that he's starving, then offers to take Jade out to eat, and even though Jade's totally caught off guard, she quickly nods and says yes. They stride down the packed street together, vanishing into the crowd so no one even spots them. A hooded stranger slips into the alley, disappearing from sight, then watches everything unfold from the shadows. Jade from the right suddenly freezes, sensing something lurking in the air, and when Leslie blurts, "What's wrong?" Jade waves it off like it's nothing. His eyes narrow, and right then he clocks it. There's a sharply dressed man nearby, slipping through the crowd like he belongs, yet the faint scent of blood still clings to him. The man strolls right past them like it's nothing, while Jade has already pinned him down as dangerous, and he has no idea. From the right, one whole week flies by since Jade started working at Leslie's shop, the Black Cat. He dives headfirst into the job, especially the deliveries, sprinting across the rooftops like he's being chased by destiny. He knows exactly what he's good at and where he falters, so from the outside it just looks like he's grinding nonstop, like that's all there is. That illusion lasts right up until Jade freezes from the right, eyes bulging with shock. Inside the shop, Leslie sits with his back turned, voice steady as he orders him not to show up tomorrow, and those words slam into Jade so hard he freezes, staring in stunned silence. Jade panics from the right, sweat pouring down his face as he fears the worst. Then Leslie whips around and breezes in. I just meant you can relax tomorrow, it's nothing serious. Jade's mind snaps to brutal memories, but Leslie slams the firing idea shut, baffled by his reaction. Jade scrambles to calm down, realizing he de-jumped to conclusions from. Leslie swings in from the right and tells Jade, I've been training you all week, right under your nose. Because of him, the shop didn't just stay open, it started rolling out new services too. He steps in closer and makes it unmistakable. Jade is already a crucial part of this store, and there's zero chance he'd ever fire someone like her. He grabs Leslie's arm tight and says, whatever's freaking Jade out, she doesn't have to shoulder it all by herself. From the right, Leslie leans in and tells Jade, I busted my butt all week, so you're taking tomorrow off, got it? Jade stared at him, eyes wide, and whispered his name so softly it still hit like thunder. Then he stepped outside and immediately asked himself what he was even supposed to do on a day off. After a beat, it all snapped into place. This was his very first real break. Leslie slides in from the right, tells Jade it's his day off, and shoves a whole week's pay into his hands. Spend it your way. Jade gives a quick nod, then steps into the street, half unsure, half burning with curiosity. As he strides through the bustling town, Leslie's words hammer in his head. Spend it how you like, but from now on you'll get paid monthly, so don't waste it. Use it wisely. Jade glances from the right at the coins in his hand and freezes, because this is more money than he's ever made in his life. After he pays for the inn and his last meal, he still has silver and a few copper clinking in the same palm. Now he just has to figure out what he's buying first. Fresh clothes, maybe even a real sword, and he's strolling with his head in the clouds when a thief's scream rips through the street, yanking his focus right back. A hooded thief barrels in from the right, sprinting down the street as screams for help rip through the air. Then a victim jabs a finger at him, and everyone around just freezes in total shock. Jade just watches, calm as ever, convinced pickpockets are a dime a dozen here, because the last time he stepped in, they treated him like the criminal. Still, that mess dragged him straight to Stana and the job at Leslie's shop. Jade bursts into action from the right, sprinting across walls and rooftops to tail the thief who's slipping away, and on the run he plots a bigger move, time to make the Black Cat name explode. When people finally spot him, he steps in and declares who he is with total confidence, but the crowd's reaction is kinda meh. Still, he shrugs it off and pushes forward, refusing to give up, locked in on making it work. From the right side, Jade rides the rooftops and shadows the thief, her mind already mapping the perfect route to trap him. When she spots her target below, she moves like she's always a step ahead. But just as he lunges to intercept, something weird in the alley grabs his attention and yanks him up short mid-chase, while Jade eases in from the right, slowing down to scrutinize the alley with sharp focus. It doesn't scream ambush. The thief halts mid-escape, freezes, and scans the area like he's hunting for danger. Jade squints, clocking something in the man's eyes, like he's hunting for someone, and the more this chase drags on, the more it feels wrong. Jade spots the pickpocket pop it back up from the right side, and suddenly this whole thing reeks of a setup instead of a real escape. He locks onto the stolen bag first, refusing to go after all of them at once. The thieves spot it, he's not biting, and panic snaps through them as frustration takes over. They snap over their busted decoy plan, swap positions on the spot, and go for round 2 as they shift into motion. Jade slips in from the side and blasts one of them with a brutal kick, smashing their only escape route. Lurking from the right, swallowed by the shadows, a man yanks one thief by the collar, then snaps a cold command. Drag out the guy who wrecked their job in the red light district. The words slice through the street as everyone moves, and Jade hears them, his breath catches. Red light district, job, his eyes snap sharp, because this isn't random at all. Jade connects the clues from the right side, and suddenly it clicks. The thieves aren't working alone, someone's calling the shots. His eyes sharpen as the realization lands. They're hunting him. A sharp shout ricochets down the alley. One of them finally spots him and points, whipping the others into action. From the right, Jade rockets in, drops one with a brutal hit, then yanks him onto her shoulder. The rest fan out, tearing through the alley while yelling that he's gone. They realize way too late, he slipped right past them. Jade grabs the unconscious man and figures they only just started getting it together. They haven't even seen his face yet, so for now, he'll keep his eyes on everything. Jade strides down the street from the right, the unconscious thief slung over his shoulder, and right when he's about to move on, a uniformed officer steps in and calls for a moment. The man he's carrying has the officer staring in shock, and he wonders if he finally bagged another thief, while Jade stays calm and talks him through it. Then the officer leans in, squints harder, and drops the bomb. "You're the guy from the red light district." Jade's eyes widen with quiet shock as she strolls back to the guard station, hauling the pickpocket by the scruff-like baggage, and the soldier can't even speak, stunned that she caught the very same thief again. The thief reels, dizzy and lost, while the guard suddenly remembers cracking a joke earlier about Jade bringing in yet another criminal, and now he can't shake the feeling it might not be luck after all. Jade shrugs it off as coincidence, drops to one knee to hand the man over, and shoots down the idea that someone with his skills should join the city's security force, refusing the offer on the spot with zero hesitation. Jade shoots down the offer to join city security because he's already clocked in at the tool shop Black Cat, and all he wants is a quiet, ordinary life. The guard laughs and says if the shop ever tanks, Jade should come looking for him. Then Jade snaps back, grumbling, "Don't jinx my workplace, all right." Jade drifts down the main street, window shopping as her eyes lock onto an ornate staff, and she just can't look away. And thinking, sure, the weapons are top-notch, but everything they sell right on the main road is way overpriced. Jade spots a flashy metal bracelet in the shop, holds it up like she's judging a trophy, and immediately compares it to Black Cat's stash. Because in her mind, their stuff is higher quality and cheaper no matter what. Under the neon buzz of the busy night street, he strides down the main road like a hunter, treating every window display as real intel, clocking price swings and hunting for the shop's best shot. He thinks about hitting the Western market, but night's crawling in fast, so he turns back, right as someone lurking in the shadows spots him and lets out a curious HM. Jade slips into a jewelry shop, spots a bracelet that looks just like the one Black Cat sells, and realizes their stuff is even better, yet it's cheaper. Under the night lights on the main street, he treats every step like market intel, scanning prices, stalking the best products, and quietly plotting how to level up his shop. He'd love to hit the Western market, but it's way too late, so he turns back, and as he heads through the streets, someone lurking in a dark corner quietly keeps their eyes on him. Jade suddenly barrels into Stana, and she greets him with a bright, unstoppable smile the moment she spots him. And he snaps his head up at her, stunned and wide-eyed. Stana and Jade head down the road together, trading updates as they catch up. Then she beams and asks how his work's going. He tells her it's been awesome, thanks to her, and since Leslie already trusts him with the deliveries, he's tearing across the city nonstop. She can't stop smiling hearing all of it. When she starts worrying she's messing up his route, Jade snaps her back with the truth. Today's his day off, and he's just out shopping. Then he waves off her concern while grumbling that everything costs way too much. Jade grumbles that the main street shops are way too pricey, and Stana shoots back, "Yeah, most days I just window shop," then swears the real steals are in the eastern side of town. Suddenly, she decides they're going together, lights in her eyes as she invites him to shop and charges off, while Jade, still half stunned, gets swept along by her unstoppable excitement. Jade threads a tight alley with Stana, and while she's already working at a tool store, they still hunt through weapon shops like it's pure thrill. He can't shake the feeling that someone's watching him, the kind of suspicious eyes that make your skin crawl, while Stan shrugs and says a big city is nothing but trouble, so you'd better stay ready. Jade shoots back that self-defense matters, then steers him into a side alley where a weapon shop waits just around the corner. Stana accidentally bumps into the tall blonde man in the coat and blurts an apology on the spot, cheeks burning. Then he glares down at her, cold and impossible to read. Right behind him, Jade snaps into full panic. Sweat pours down his face as he yells Stana's name like it might save her. The blonde man snaps into action, swinging a brutal sweeping slash straight at Stana. Jade snaps to attention the moment Stana yells his name, and right then, in the blink of an eye, he's already slammed into her, pinning her down and shielding her. And as she panics and blurts out apologies, he loosens his grip and hauls her back to her feet. Meanwhile, the blonde man strolls over like this is totally normal. Right in front of Jade, Stana and the man both step in and take responsibility for the crash, until the stranger turns on the charm, snatches the blame with a smooth bow, and apologizes like it's all his fault. Jade just stands there, silent and sharp, eyes narrowed, absolutely refusing to swallow the innocent story. Jade clicks his tongue in disgust, furious that he actually reacted to the stranger's killing intent as he yanked Stana down. As she keeps talking, he clocks the blonde man. He's seen that face before, but he can't place it yet. The guy stays cool, draws his sword partway out of its sheath, grins, and tells him he heard there's a top-notch smith nearby. Then he adds that he got turned around on the way, just trying to get a friend's keepsake blade serviced. Stana beams and urges them to roll out together to Smith, since she and Leslie are headed that way anyway, while Jade hangs back, uneasy and on edge. The blonde man grins like it's nothing, then politely introduces himself. Avon and Bose, but the second he does, he and Jade lock eyes, both sizing each other up with silent, sharp caution. As they move, Jade keeps her eyes on Avon, like she's trying to read his next move. His whole posture screams danger, even that hand hovering near his sword, and Jade thinks, take him out now. But with Stana standing right there, he can't afford to make a scene, so for now he swallows his tension, keeps his calm face on, and moves from right to left. The dark-haired man jolts in sheer shock as something snaps around the blonde guy's neck out of nowhere. Then the blonde freezes instantly, eyes blazing wide, totally blindsided. The next second the tension shatters. Blonde guy just laughs it off like it's nothing, while the woman beside him turns bright red and scrambles to smooth everything over, and the dark-haired guy stays stone-faced, eyes still locked on them with raw suspicion. The blonde man slides in from the right and smirks as he steps forward, teasing her to the brink. Then he laughs when the girl snaps, "Stop," and she darts ahead fast, weaving between the bookshelves. The dark-haired man hangs back, choosing to watch for the moment, because something tells him this won't be as simple as it looks. The blonde man's smile vanishes as he feels the tension creeping up behind him. From right to left, the crew halts in front of a small, tough-looking building marked by a sign that screams "Weapon Shop." The outside is plain and slightly battered, but they don't hesitate. Then they march in, greeted politely right at the door. As they step inside, the blonde man shrugs at the plain outside, but flashes a confident grin. He knows the real quality is waiting inside, while the dark-haired guy slips in right behind him, silent as ever. From right to left, they stride into the weapon shop, and a blast of heavy, suffocating heat smacks them in the face. The air turns thick, making the blonde man feel uneasy, while the dark-haired man remains cool and steady. While they scan the weapons on display, they suddenly realize one person isn't there, gone. Then the blonde man snaps a question like, "How are you staying this calm in a place like this?" Even as the dark-haired man acts totally unbothered. The dark-haired man sweeps his gaze from right to left, scrutinizing the blade and shield walls, clocking the clean, simple designs, and even grinning at how solid the selection is for a tiny shop. He scans the stall and spots wild treasures, like a colossal sword and armor built like a tank, then freezes as the big, beastly shopkeeper behind the counter slumps over and knocks out again. While the girl points it out, the dark-haired man deadpans about whether the old guy in the back is up for sale too, his eyes sliding from right to left, tracing the whole row. The beast-like shopkeeper jolts awake as the girl calls his name, lifting his head in a haze of grogginess. The dark-haired man just stares into the shadows, silently guessing what the shopkeeper could possibly be up to. The girl bows and apologizes for bothering him. Then the beast snaps to attention, recognizes her instantly, and greets her properly from behind the barrel he'd been lounging on. From right to left, the girl thrusts the two men into the spotlight, telling them straight up they're hunting a top-tier weaponsmith, and this shop is the only place that fits the bill. The beastly craftsman growls that he can't refuse her, and then he lines in, demanding to know what they need. The blonde man strides up, thrusts his weird-shaped sword into the air, and tells them the other smiths all turned it down, then begs them to service it. From right to left, the beast-like smith raises his sword and leans in, tracing that rare, curved blade with awe, then demands where it came from, only for the blonde man to tell him it was picked up among imported goods. The smith remembers someone saying it was a friend's keepsake, but the blonde guy shrugs it off like it's nothing, claiming, "That's just what my friend told me." Right to left, the smith leans in close to the blade, eyes locked as he studies it, then nods, sure, he can fix it. He promises he'll haul it to the forge and tells them to hold tight while the blonde man hands it over, finally exhaling in relief. When the smith finally steps out, the girls lean in and urge them to check out other blades right away, especially since Jade has her sights set on getting one, while the dark-haired guy hangs close by, ready to jump in at a moment's notice. Right to left, the dark-haired guy casually scans the prices, clocks every tag, and asks what budget they've got, while the girl keeps apologizing to Stana as they rifle through the racks. The blonde guy practically vibrates with excitement when he spots the weapon, and then his jaw drops at how ridiculously cheap it is. Meanwhile, the dark-haired man clocks the mismatch and can't stop wondering why he's way more thrilled than he is. In the end, the blonde man fires back a sharp thank you, but demands the final say on his tools, totally sure his eye for weapons is right on the money. The blonde guy barrels in from the right to help, while the girl sprints after the dark-haired man. No way she's getting left behind. They crowd around a barrel crammed with swords, and it feels like every blade is daring them to pick the wrong one, while the dark-haired guy just stands there, baffled, totally unsure what he's supposed to do. Meanwhile, the blonde man raises his blade, cackling as he calls out the perfect masterpieces, and the trash mixed in, while his grin makes it clear the shopkeeper is way craftier than he looks. The dark-haired man snaps his choice from right to left, fast, while the girl stares in shock and the blonde man blurts out questions. Then he calmly raises a short sword and declares, "That's the one." The blade looks ancient and beat up, its edge carved with scars, yet he stands there smiling like the years only make it better. The blonde man slides in from the right and leans close like, "If you're picking a weapon, grab the best." Then he jabs a finger at a sharper blade, grinning like it's guaranteed to cut. The dark-haired man leans in and studies the edge, and he instantly understands how lethal it is. Yet he doesn't flinch, locking his focus on the older short sword instead. Dark hair right to left, he clamps down on the moment and tells everyone he's already decided, face rock steady as his hand grips the blade. The blonde man smirks, then spots practice dummies lined up nearby and instantly pushes, "Let's test the weapon," while the girl strides ahead toward the back of the shop. As the two men shift their focus to the testing area, right to left, they thank Stana and sprint over, and the blonde guy is practically vibrating with excitement, eager to try it on the spot. Because Jade's the one paying, they wave him ahead first. He steps up, clamps his hand tight around that short blade, and agrees on the spot without a single pause. Jade suddenly rockets from right to left, streaking toward the practice dummy low to the ground, eyes locked in sharp focus. The next second he rockets forward and swings. Boom, closing the gap so fast the others can only watch from behind, the girl's eyes widening in curiosity as the blonde man stays perfectly calm while the hit lands. Jade checks the blade from right to left after his strike, grinning at how perfectly balanced and razor-sharp it is, especially for something so cheap, and the girl blurts out in shock at just how well it hits. A blonde man nearby smirks like he already knows the answer, thinking, "If Jade's praising that one, mine's going to blow it away." Then he strides straight to the testing area, itching to prove his pick is better. The blonde man whips his blade from right to left, and carves the practice dummy clean in half in one unstoppable strike. Jade calls it wildly impressive, but the girl gasps in shock because it's split so effortlessly. Right then, the beast-like Smith stomps back in, blurted out an apology for testing the blade, and swears the repairs are already done, leaving them staring in shock at how crazy fast he finished. Right to left, they thank the Smith and bolt out of the shop, while he just watches them go, stunned by how wild those customers were. All alone, he stares at the dummy split clean in two, shocked that the cut is so perfectly precise. Even a blade as good as his shouldn't have split cleanly that easily, yet it did, and he couldn't help but stand there, quietly blown away. Just as he's moving from right to left, the Smith suddenly feels it, turns in shock, and spots a looming shadow creeping in from behind. When he leans in, he spots a spotless hole punched through pristine high-grade armor. He's left staring, stunned, because he can't figure out when it happened or how anyone pulled it off. That realization smashes into him, like a blade through his chest, the short sword piercing clean through. Right beside him, Jade stays rock steady with her sword raised, daring the world to question it. Jade smirks as the blade slips from right to left, because that short sword didn't just pierce the armor, it sliced through the mirror behind it too. The Smith freezes in pure disbelief, because that armor was the toughest in the shop, and no bargain bin blade should have been able to punch it like that. He lines it up, right to left, the pierced armor and the dummy side by side, and the clean, brutal damage sits there like proof. The Smith snaps back to an old memory, eyes going wide as it claws its way to the surface. He freezes mid-thought, scrambling to link what he just saw to what happened years ago. He studies the short sword from right to left and realizes it's battered and plain, the kind of weapon no normal adventurer would ever pick. Then it hits him. It's gone. Panic detonates. He blares that his master's short sword has vanished. He slams the pieces together, remembering how a shady blonde man distracted him, and now he knows the blade's look was never the threat. The real danger was the guy who walked off with it. From right to left, the blonde man strides down the building steps, whistling like he owns the place, while the swords at his side clink with every step. As he comes back, a man steps in and greets him. No pause, no delay. The blonde guy barrels past him and demands to check the sword. He needs to know if it's finally been repaired. From right to left, the blonde man leans in, admiring the repaired blade with a grin, calling it beautiful, while the bald man next to him erupts with intense excitement, practically overwhelmed. Later, the blonde man sinks into a bar stool like he owns the place. Smiling as he settles in, he thanks the gods for the day and casually orders wine, totally pleased with how everything went. From Jade's razor-sharp right to left strike flashes through the blonde man's head, and the harder he tries to block it out, the more it claws its way back, until he's stuck alone with his thoughts, smirking as he finally admits, "I can't ignore this anymore." Jade's got his full attention, and he can't stop himself. He starts sizing that man up, scanning him carefully from right to left. Morning breaks over town, and Jade greets it like it's no big deal, until a huge bearded man hauls in a crate and calls out, asking how Jade spent his day off. Jade admits it turned into total chaos, then thanks Stana for taking care of him and says somehow it ended up being a good breather anyway. While the man listens, Jade goes quiet and realizes the blonde guy he met is dangerous. From right to left, the bearded man slumps back, spitting frustration and spiraling in his own head, wondering what any of it even means. And every time he tries to invite her out, she flutters away like she can't stand staying. Jade stands nearby, totally unimpressed, and snaps, "Is this really what you're sulking about after we just spent time shopping and stuffing our faces?" Then he changes the subject, saying this is bigger. There's a serious conflict between the main street shops and Black Cat that demands attention. Right to left, they're sizing up every shop in town. Those stores cost more than the open-air market, yet somehow they're still the cheapest spots on the main street. The bearded man snaps to attention the second business gets mentioned. Jade fires back that Black Cat stays affordable without sacrificing satisfaction. That's their real edge. Then he lifts his proposal with a calm, confident tone. Jade points from right to left and tells him Black Cat's in trouble, at the very back of the main street, where almost nobody walks by, and he pushes for prices to be posted loud and clear on a signboard outside. The bearded man recalls that when they put up that old delivery sign out front, customers started pouring in, and Jade chimes in that it's a great shop, it just needs louder promotion, and the man bursts into laughter like, "Yeah, that's it." Jade points from right to left and shouts, "Let's make quick flyers with the exact same info as that sign. Then I'll hunt down other shops that'll actually post them." The bearded man nods in agreement and says he'll whip up the flyers in between jobs as Jade steps out to run his errands, he quietly plots his next move, thinking of other places to hit so he can slip in and mark a few more spots while he's already out. The flyers are finally done, right to left, every last one stacked up. Jade scans them, sure they'd pop more with color, then admits they're clean, simple, and easy to understand. He snatches up a stack and promises to pass them out. Then the bearded guy slides him a few to kick things off, grinning like they nailed it. Jade bolts out the door, counting on him to back the whole plan. Jade strides through town from right to left with a fat stack of flyers cradled in his arms, telling himself it's finally his turn to hustle, because if Leslie is moving that fast, he's got to match her pace. He decides to kick things off at the Adventurers Guild, pushing straight toward that massive building as people stream in and out all around him. Jade strides in from the right and straight into the Adventurers Guild, and the place is so packed with people she can barely breathe. He leans in as they say adventurers burn through their tools fast, and that Black Cat mostly hooks regular townsfolk, not big shots. Watching the crowd, Jade decides to drive Black Cat straight into the view of adventurers, because that's how they grow. From right to left, the guild is jam-packed, and the densest crowd hugs the counter like it's the only thing holding the world together. While one big adventurer barks about the chaos, everyone else lines up with their requests. Jade pushes through the crush, clocking how adventurers pick jobs that fit their strengths, herb gathering, monster hunts, item searches. Then he stares hard at the job board and the idea sparks. This might be the perfect path toward shopkeeping. A rough adventurer pushes in from the right, barrels straight into Jade and starts needling him. "You got something to say." But Jade stays ice calm and orders him to get back in line, so another guy jumps in and tells the troublemaker to drop it. Jade waves it off like it's nothing, convinced it's just noise at his feet. Then he watches them walk away, and he clocked them instantly as two rising rookie adventurers, already carving out a name for themselves, because in this place, only strength decides who's really above who. Jade pivots from right to left, turns his back, snaps, "Not my business," and then clocks them. "Looks like you're barely making a dime anyway." As he strolls away, two rookie guards rush up, block his path, and snap that he cut the line. Then Jade stays cool and tells them he lined up just like everyone else, and the air tightens as they finally realize he didn't ignore them after all. From right to left, one rookie snatches a flyer and sneers, spots it's not a request form, then rips into Jade, saying it's nothing special at all. Jade doesn't even flinch when they trash it to their faces. So he drops to his knees by the board and quietly apologizes to Leslie for dumping the flyer job on him, telling himself that if it helps the shop grow, it's worth it, even if doing it solo would have been way easier. The bearded man, grinning from right to left, lets out this huge smile and says ever since Jade showed up, work has turned into pure fun, like every single day is buzzing. Then the vibe flips, Jade's expression turns steel, his bangs casting shadows over his face, and when a stranger barges in and snaps at the old man to get lost, stepping right into their space, the tension spikes again. As the rookies move from right to left, they spot Jade's expression changing, and they crack jokes at the old man again. One of them explodes forward and hurls a punch as the others pile in on him, and just like that, the whole guild is set to erupt. Every eye in the place snaps to the chaos. Jade stands there tight with tension, fully sure he could wipe them all out in seconds, but there are just too many eyes on him. He clicks his tongue and it hits him hard. He let it get to him. Jade, right in the middle of the chaos, realizes the rookies need a decoy. Then, from above, something slams down with a brutal crash, forcing the fight to flip his way. The ceiling groans and splinters, and every eye snaps up. Then, right in the chaos, Jade glides through it, slipping a gap between everyone. The rookies freeze in panic, jolted by the sudden noise, while the bearded man and the others snap their heads up, stunned and clueless about what just hit them. Right to left, the guild crowd jolts into confusion, convinced some light just shattered. Then boom, the crash rips through the air and everyone freezes in shock. Outside, a rookie gets flung straight through a window and slams onto the ground, dazed and badly hurt. While the whole place erupts, Jade slips away quietly down the street, vanishing without a single word. Jade strides through the crowded street from right to left, already thinking, guess I can't hand out flyers at the guild after all. So he turns plans around. He'll return another day and finish the rest. As he slips into a quieter street, a sharp chill hits. Someone's tailing him, and it's only one person. He can't help but wonder if they noticed the chaos earlier. Are they about to report him or unleash payback? He keeps moving, stone calm on the surface, already bracing for whatever hits next. Jade slips from right to left into a narrow alley, and when he glances back, the guy behind him slows. Confused, he looks up, but then Jade just vanishes from sight. The next second, Jade crashes down behind him and knocks him out fast. The man slams onto the ground in pure shock, realizing way too late he walked straight into a trap. Either way, Jade refuses to let himself get hunted, shifting hard from right to left. Jade catches the young man from behind, shoves a blade right up to his throat, and keeps her calm, cold as steel, because she refuses to let this go on any longer. He leans in close and hisses that he mustn't move or even breathe, while the boy shakes, drenched in sweat, eyes bulging, realizing he's trapped completely under Jade's control. Jade glides in from the right, blade pressed to the boy's neck, and asks his name like it's nothing, while the terrified kid stammers and finally blurts out, Trevor Bricker. Jade stares at him, shocked it's just a kid, and fires back. Why was Trevor following him? And don't you dare lie, because he can read it in his pulse. Trevor shakes like a leaf, crushing under the pressure, and his fear spills out no matter how hard he tries to hide it. From right to left, Trevor blurts out that he saw Jade wipe out the 3 brothers at the guild, and that's why he followed her. Then his voice shatters as he starts crying, apologizing again and again. With tears streaming down his face, he blurted that he'd only thought Jade was amazing. No joke, just pure awe. Jade stares at him in stunned silence, soaking it all in. Then Trevor's voice cracks and rises from right to left, louder and louder, until he's completely crushed by it all. Jade snarls at him to stop. Say one more thing and she'll snap his arm trying to shut him up. So the kid panics hard, fighting back tears as he begs, promising he won't do a thing. Jade slaps a hand over his mouth to shut him up, then presses him hard. Tell me you're not tied to those guys. Trevor wipes his tears with a trembling sniff, blurts out an apology, and jerks his head fast when they ask if he's with them. His face is still puffy from crying, while Jade yanks his hand away. Trying to calm his nerves, Trevor blurts out that what happened at the guild was straight up amazing, and he even admits Jade was so blindingly fast he couldn't catch a single move. Then he just listens, shuddering as he struggles to explain, still shaken but totally sincere. From right to left, Trevor sniffles, nods, wipes his face, and keeps saying yes, like he's fighting back tears while he steadies his breath. Jade lets out a deep sigh because he finally gets it. The kid really did witness everything. Trevor insists again that the scene was incredible, but adds that Jade moved too fast for him to figure out what he did, and then he points out that one of the brothers was already knocked out, so it had to be Jade's doing. As Trevor reels it all out from right to left, he says those 3 always pick on him, so watching them get taken down felt like a weight lifting off his chest, and he thanks Jade from the bottom of his heart. Jade waves it off, claiming he just handled a personal grudge and that no thanks are needed. Then he grumbles that he probably stressed over nothing. As Trevor hesitates, still trying to find the right words about what happened today, Jade keeps her eyes glued to him as she scans him from right to left, then Trevor. Trevor lunges forward, tears in his eyes but fire in his stare, and blurt, he needs Jade to take him as her disciple. Jade freezes on the spot, completely blindsided, and just stares at him in pure, stunned shock. Trevor sweeps from right to left, eyes shining as he swears learning from Jade will make him stronger, but Jade shuts it down on the spot. Then when he keeps pressing, she snaps around and bolts, totally done with it. Trevor scrambles after him, begging for one more chance, but Jade bolts the other way, swatting his attempt aside and refusing to get pulled into the mess, so from right to left. Trevor keeps yelling he'll beg every single day until Jade finally gives in, then right when he says it, Jade freezes the moment she hears the tool shop name, Black Cat. He freezes for a split second as the situation suddenly looks like it could spiral out of control, while Trevor keeps begging and begging, only for Jade to snap back and refuse him again. After a long, tense pause, he drags his hands over his face in frustration, then finally caves, promising he'll take the kid in. Trevor explodes with joy and throws his arms up, but Jade instantly wears regret like a mask. Trevor clenches his fist from right to left, calling himself a low-rank rookie for now, but he swears he'll get stronger no matter what. Jade stares him down, then lays down the rules. If Trevor wants her to teach him, he's got to play by her conditions. First rule, he's not allowed to step foot near Black Cat. Trevor nods on the spot, ready and determined, while Jade stays icy calm but unshakably firm. Trevor beams from right to left, flashes a massive grin, and declares Jade his master like it's the best news ever, while Jade just stands there, stunned, caught off guard, and feeling a little uneasy. As Trevor sprints off with pure excitement, Jade watches him disappear, and she's already got a bad feeling this is about to explode into trouble. Right after that, Trevor barrels back in, awkwardly chuckling as it hits him. He forgot to ask when and where they'd train. Jade barrels back to Black Cat from right to left, grinning like, "I'm back." A bearded man snaps that it took him long enough, and Jade shrugs. Stuff came up. Inside, the flyers are up and posted right, and the others burst out with relief, because they'd been terrified they'd get shut down. Jade just takes it all in, quietly watching as the plan finally starts to move. Right to left, the bearded man yanks Jade into a headlock, grinning as he hypes the plan, saying the shop's about to blow up again. Then Jade cuts him off, telling him not to get ahead of himself. As the man bolts away, all fired up, Jade figures they can make this work by keeping it low-key for now, because if they truly want to grow Black Cat's reach as a tool shop, they're going to need something bigger. A paper rockets in from the right, bam, and Jade whips around, annoyed, demanding to know what the heck that was. The three brothers trap Trevor at the table, laughing at him again, acting nice, as they tease that herb-picking fits someone like him. Then they sarcastically tell him to go hunt first before he even dares touch the herbs. Trevor huddles under the crushing pressure as someone nearby yells for the Vice Guild Master to jump in, while, in the shadows, a masked figure silently watches and snorts like they're already in on it. A calm voice slices in from right to left, ordering them to take it outside and end the brawl in the guild. Then one of the brothers snaps back, asking who's interfering, only to face a round, well-dressed man with a mustache and a monocle. He grins like he owns the place and cheerfully introduces himself as the Vice Guild Master. With a polite smile, he assures them they've got this and tells everyone to sit down for a real talk, right from right to left. At daybreak, Jade grinds through a savage workout, hitting 1001 arm-raised squats while bracing himself against a chair, sweat pouring down his face as he fights to finish the final reps. When the final number hits, he collapses onto his bed and gasps for air, then steadies his breathing and mutters, "All right, work time," but only after he takes one last moment to get his strength back. Right there, the Adventurers Guild sits still, washed in the early morning glow, calm but tense. Jade stares at the flyer clutched in his hand, cursing how badly he fumbled yesterday's negotiation, because today he's going in with the right approach. Inside the guild, it's eerily calm and almost deserted at this hour. Perfect, he thinks, to take care of everything without a single distraction. Jade slides up to the counter from right to left and blurts that he wants to post a flyer at the guild, then admits, straight up, he's not an adventurer. The receptionist greets him politely. But the second he flashes the flyer, she blurts out an apology and says they don't let non-request notices go on that board. So Jade jumps in fast, suggests they tack it on as a proper request at the bottom, and asks if that works. She hesitates for a split second, then snaps that she'll call her superior to make the call, while Jade just waits there, forcing herself to stay calm. Jade grips the flyer and waits from the right side to the left, when a round guy with a monocle rolls up and claims he was just in the middle of breakfast. He bows his head, apologizing for the wait like it's a mistake he can fix, then introduces himself as Michael O'Brien, the guild's deputy head, and with a polite smile, he gets ready to finally hear Jade out. From right to left, the deputy head drops into his chair like it's his throne, pressing a cloth to his face as he leans back, his massive build, and "I run this place," confidence turned the whole room razor tight. Jade leans in quietly, stunned that for a man his size he slips around without a single sound, and even his weird breathing screams louder than the silence itself. After a beat, Jade steadies his focus again. Jade leans in and grills him about his business, then says from left to right, no, right to left. He runs the Black Cat tool shop, and he asks for the guild's permission to post a flyer. The deputy head listens, stays ice calm, and shuts it down. No flyers that aren't official requests. Then he leans in and adds, even if they could, the board is already packed. Jay won't back down. He raises the paper and goes, what if we submit the flyer itself as the request? Right to left, the montage snaps to monster hunts and rising calls from every garrison. Requests for more men, more supplies, more firepower. Since the hero died, the whole world has been sliding into chaos, and adventurers tighten their grips as bigger horrors come crawling closer. Above the city, dark shapes churn in the sky like storm clouds that learned how to hunt. Back inside, the deputy head watches it all unfold and mutters that, with danger swelling like this, even boring shop errands start to feel useless. Jade slides a string of tiny job requests from right to left: weed the garden, walk a pet, even mine a shop, and the deputy head clocks them immediately, realizing he's nailed the pattern. Jade insists that if the board has no room, he'll carve out space himself. He'll take one of those requests, clear it out, then slam Black Cat's notice into the empty slot, saying if jobs like that are allowed, his shop deserves the same spot. The deputy head freezes for a beat, weighing everything, then finally flips it his way, from right to left, telling Jade she can do whatever she wants. Jade smiles and thanks him. He strides straight to the request board, scans the notes like a hawk, and hunts for something he can knock out fast. His gaze locks onto one job that sounds almost too easy: pest control in North Cave, so he drills into every detail, then makes his choice. This is the one. A massive earth dragon slams into view from right to left, marked as a high-rank monster, and it looms over the whole battlefield like a living nightmare. Jade freezes, thinking, this isn't a simple pest job, it's bigger, and he wrestles himself back into reason. Just because he can't handle it doesn't mean he should. Then he imagines the chaos of a shopkeeper taking down a dragon and instantly shuts that thought down. Nope, not happening, not ever. Jade scans right to left, clocks a new notice, and zeroes in on the guild repairs. So here's how it all went down. While they were waiting for jobs, some adventurers threw themselves into a fight, and it spiraled out of control fast, smashing people up so bad they were sent flying against the ceiling and lights. Jade tenses for a split second, because she remembers every inch of that chaos, even as the story gets laid out in straight, no-nonsense terms. Jade points from right to left and tells you straight, he's got a tool shop, and after all, he's willing to take the guild repairs off their hands. The deputy head admits they never caught the culprit, and only hoped the real person would set things right, and Jade instantly looks away, guilt written all over his face. Then the deputy head perks up and says that makes all the difference. When Jade demands answers, he leans in and says they'll wipe the repair fee entirely, because Jade was allowed to post that flyer. Later, Jade drags in supplies and pitches in to repair the place, slips under the radar, and keeps backing his shop from the shadows. Jade throws an apology at Leslie, blaming himself for not being strong enough. Then Leslie waves it off and tells him they've got bigger goals waiting just ahead. Right there in the open, Jade clenches his resolve and locks in, while in the shadows, a watcher leans in, sure they've finally spotted their target. Jade feels it and decides the time for endings is now. Two men trail Jade from afar and whisper that Avon thinks he's messing with their work, but one scoffs. He's just some old dude. Still, they decide to keep watching him. Jade strolls off, either totally oblivious or pretending he doesn't notice he's being watched, and the two men keep their eyes locked on him as Jade heads back to his shop for the day. Days keep rolling by, and Jade just powers through, strolling the streets, chatting with everyone, knocking out his work, and pretending nothing in the world is wrong. A week later, the watchers huddle up and compare notes, firing off the big question: has he slipped up or made any suspicious moves yet? Avon leans into the report, and the moment he hears it, Jade hasn't done a single weird thing. She's just been working like always. They question if he's overthinking it, but he stays on edge even after a beat, and he agrees. Right now, there's still zero clear proof. After spotting those weird reports, a superior shows up and catches Avon tangled in messy internal fights. Then, calm as ice but unshakable, he shuts it down, tells him he's wasting time, and makes it clear he expects more from Avon than from anyone else. A hooded figure steps up before a desperate crowd and snaps that the world is crumbling without a hero, then demands that someone, anyone, step in and put it back together. Elsewhere, Avon gets hammered with the truth. His crew can't just survive, it has to grow into raw power and make a name for itself. He takes the message in complete silence. The man behind those glasses just watches in calm silence, like he's completely satisfied with where everything is headed. Evan gets told to stop stressing over the tiny stuff, because the bigger plans are already rolling, and he needs to keep his eyes dead on the target. After that meeting, the tension in his group spikes. One person wonders what happens next, while another sneers at the thought of backing down. Avon, shaking with frustration but keeping his cool, makes it crystal clear they're not about to be treated like idiots. Avon barks orders at his men to keep chasing Jade, warning them that if they keep staring from far away, they'll learn nothing at all, no matter how distant they think they are. Jade feels the pressure swelling, and Avon realizes this isn't a small problem anymore. It's a real threat that'll wreck their organization if they don't deal with it. One of Avon's men keeps his eyes on Jade from afar, convinced that if nothing explodes, he doesn't need to move, but the irritation is practically boiling off him. He babysits this harmless shopkeeper, but it feels like pure wasted time, like boredom is slowly crushing him. He starts telling himself Jade is only lucky, not dangerous, and that this whole stakeout is a complete waste. The man stalking Jade starts squirming with impatience and snaps that if nothing's happening, they'll have to make something happen. His partner hesitates, knowing it's reckless, but after that hard pause, they both decide to move. Two men storm into the shop and start mocking the place the second they step inside. The store is packed wall to wall, and the owner flashes a laid-back smile as he greets every single customer. Hands full as he keeps hammering through the work, while the troublemakers loiter right by the entrance. Jade sizes up the scene, sets her sights on trouble, and steps in calm as ice, but ready to start something big. Claiming they'll handle him no matter what, one of the men lunges in to shut him down, and at the same time, points out someone standing in the doorway. The shop owner snaps in fast, forcing a nothing-to-see-here smile and pushing Jade to take care of a quick little swap, while one of the troublemakers screams that the anti-monster charm is defective, calls the shop stuffed junk, and detonates a scene in front of everyone. The troublemakers finally back off, but the damage is already done. Inside the shop, Leslie's face tightens with frustration as he realizes he let it all spiral again. Customers keep flooding in, but the mounting tension is choking the air. Jade stands back in silence as the shop crowds up fast. Then Leslie admits he's grateful for the business, but the whole place is starting to spiral, getting messy and slipping out of control. Leslie says they might need more staff, and you can feel the stress from how slammed everything's become. Then, out of nowhere, a girl bursts in with pure excitement, agrees instantly, and totally catches them off guard. She bursts in saying she'd been out shopping, then bolts back because she can't shake the fear for Leslie. Her sudden rush lights up the whole shop, while Jade just stands there, staring as the chaos swells all around him. Avon and the rest huddle nearby, staring at the shop like it's about to explode, because the tension still won't die down. Inside the Jade shop, she clocks the cold hostility in the air and snaps it out. Then the big shopkeeper admits he hates watching people split into sides. Stana steps in and tells everyone, "Next time let's do it the right way if anyone's even hurt." The shopkeeper jumps at the chance to treat her to food, but she clocks how packed they are and politely turns it down. And just like that, the tension loosens and the air feels lighter. But that unease still won't quit. Stana gets ready to hand Jay over to a painkiller, yet Jay swears he's fine. The second the drug's name lands, one of Avon's men snaps, eyes bulging as control evaporates. And he lunges in like a starving animal, screaming for it. Then the calm in the shop shatters as he barrels straight toward them, claws out, desperate to get his hands on the drug. The addict barrels straight at Stana, but Jade snaps in on the spot, knocking him aside mid-attack. The man slams to the ground, trembling and drenched, clawed over by pure craving. He's begging for the drug, barely even able to think. And as he spirals out of control, one of the watchers clocks it. This disaster might actually be useful, even if nobody meant for it to happen.